Hi everyone, so I'm starting with the new kit today, and this is the February kit, Life in Full Colour. And today I'm going to alter this lamp that I had. So it's to hold a candle. It's missing the glass here, but I thought I would keep it because it's really pretty. This was from an Alice in Wonderland party I had. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to build inside. So there's a sheet of glass at the back here, which I'll build up on to the front. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this Prima black heavy gesso and then give the whole thing a coat on the outside and a rough coat inside as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have now covered this in the black gesso. It's a bit rough some places inside, but I'm going to work to cover that as I decorate it. But the outside is quite nicely covered. So the next thing I'm going to do is look to cover inside. So I'm going to use this glass plate this way round. So I'm going to build up from that glass plate outwards. So I'm going to use some papers from our kit. I'm going to start with this page, which is graffiti hip hop, and the colour scheme I've decided to go for is pink and purple sort of colours. So I'm going to use this piece here to face outwards on the glass piece so that there's something nice going on in the back as well. Excuse me. And then I'm going to use some of the other papers to build up layers there, and I will probably use die cuts, flowers, some of the fabrics as well. So we've got things like this in the kit and the die cuts. So I will go ahead and start cutting out some shapes and working out how I want it to look. Before I stick down, I'll come back and show you. Okay, so what I've done is that piece I cut out there from the graffiti hip hop sheet, I backed with this piece, which is from the 7 Dots paint chips, and this is called glaze sheet. So I've backed it with the pinkish piece there. Then I've taken parts from both sheets. I've cut out different shapes. I've roughed the edges up with my nail and the edge of scissors, and I'm going to distress the edges with ink as well, I think. And what I will now do is I'll build up layers with that, using in between some of the fabric and the die cuts that I said about. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and show you how that looks. Okay, so I've laid up the papers just using foam dots and foam tapes. Then I've added, this is some of the die cuts that I showed you. This one here is from the die cut sheet in the pack, paint chips, so I've used that purple triangle there. The little puppy stickers here are from the sheet that's also in the kit. So that's these ones. And this is some of the fabric that I showed you. And I've just used a couple of Lindy's sprays in Prima Donna Purple and Hot Potato Hot Pink to just colour those. And then I've added those on. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use some of the gel that's in the kit. And we're going to add a bit of the glass glitter that you'll find in the kit as well. So let's bring this in and decide where it's going to go. So I'll go for a little bit there. And I'll move this around with a palette knife. If you've got the first kit, you'll have a palette knife in there. If not, you can pick them up fairly cheaply at any art or craft shop. So I've just spread that around a little bit, and then I'm going to sprinkle some of the glass glitter in. The gel will dry clear, so don't worry too much if you don't cover it all. And this is just going to give a bit of extra texture and some sparkle. So that's the glass glitter. Okay, so I'm going to go and edge some of the torn edges with some ink now, and then we'll go ahead and get this put inside and we'll start working on the outside. Now before I just carry on, this enamel at the bottom, I've decided to just colour that. I thought the pink was a bit light for the kit, the rest of it. So what I've done is I just took a little bit of the gel. I mixed in some of this purple powder that I had. It's a bit like Brusho, so you could use one of our Brushos. And then I mixed in some glitters that I had, chunky glitters. You could use the glitter in the kit to make a like paste. And then I've gone over the word, and then I took the chunky pink glitter to just sprinkle that over the top. So that's created a really nice effect, and I think that pops out a bit more because you couldn't see the word with all that colour. So I shall carry on now. Okay, so the next step is going to be to glue the piece that we've just made into the frame. So I'm going to take that same gel, because this dries clear, and I'm going to just squeeze some into there. And then I'm just going to move this around in here till I've covered most of the surface. Just clean this brush off a bit better. So I don't want purple in there, so I want it to be clear. So we'll spread this around in here. So I've just squirted a blob there. And it fits quite tight in there, so I'm not going to be too fussy with this. Just want just that extra security. So I'm just smudging that all around. You want to get it quite thin, because although it does dry clear, if you've got it thick, then obviously it is going to still show a little bit. So just push the excesses to the edge. Excess. And this is another reason I like to have a plastic palette knife, because I think they bend quite well when you're doing something like this. So that's that. And then we will take our piece and we're going to lay this inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so it's glued in place. This will hopefully dry nice and clear, I'm hoping. And from the other side, it looks really good. I'm really pleased with that. That's just a bit gel at the top, so that will dry. And that magic, the light's not great in here. There we go, you can see a bit better now. So it's a nice three-dimensional piece. Now we're going to work on the outside. So I'm going to add colour around the edge, for which I think I might use the pom-pom trim that we had in the kit. And I think I'll use this nice bright pink one, so that really pops out. And we will do some more work, probably with some modelling paste that will colour. I'm going to use waxes on the edge because it's already patterned, so we don't need to worry about decorating that. And we might use some glass glitters up here, and I've got a whole host of metals in here, beads, etc., and we will go ahead and add some of those. So I'm going to start on that and I'll come back sort of halfway through. Okay, so here I started to mix modelling paste with some of the pink Lindy's, and then I also added bubblegum pink dilutions to get that real intense colour. But it wasn't quite thick enough, so I added a big blob of the heavy body gel from Prima. And I'm going to take this stencil and I'm going to apply to the edges here and the base this gel, and then I may add highlights of purple in areas, so I will go ahead and do that. Okay, so I applied that pink paste through the stencil. I then mixed that same purple powder, blue powder into the pink after I finished to create this purple powder, and I've gone round. On the top I also added some glitter, glass glitter, and a bit of ink. On the purple sections I added a few flicks of the pink Lindy's ink, so I've done the same this side. On the sides I've done just a messy bit there with the tool. So now I'm going to be working on these edges, so I'm going to be using waxes and I will come back. Okay, so it's finished. So I've added this pom-pom trim around the front, and I used 3 different waxes, which I'll put away. I used a purple and blue Antique Brilliance Prima, and I used a purple, I've forgotten the name of it, they're just the shimmery ones. And then I also used these couple of Prima Sparks paints, so Iris Potion and Butterfly Spells. So it's got a nice shimmer to the edge. Here's the back. The gel is almost dry now. So then I've added the Prima paints just to the edges around as well, just in those little gaps to make that more interesting. And inside, where there was this little candle sort of holder, I put one of the big flowers from the kit. So this is it, it's finished. I'm actually really pleased with it. I wasn't sure when I started. On the handle I just added some of the Prima Sparks paints as well. So that's it. I'm super chuffed. So I will also take some photos of this and add it to the blog, some in better light so you can see it properly. And I'll get those put up and I'll link to the blog for you. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye bye.